Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and I have some decisions to make because I have the potential of two exhibitions coming up, one in April and one in June, and I want to present to them some of my finished work. And at the moment I don't have that much finished. I have, of course, my YT transport, which I've just finished recently, which was on my previous post, which I'm going to take along. But then I have the option of what to do because I have quite a bit of unfinished stuff here. I have my big shield of Tyrannus, which is on the sidelines at the moment, awaiting further construction. I still have my skyship, which I want to finish, and I think that's going to be my centerpiece for the summer exhibition, I think, because it is almost in a state of completion and it needs just painting, weathering and finishing off with some extra little details. So that could be a potential thing there. I have my Discovery ship at the background, but I think I'm going to leave that for now because, again, that will require extra work on it. I'm going to take my Chimera Marauder to the exhibition, I think, one of the exhibitions, because of course that's now finished. I then have my unfinished mech up here, which needs to be painted, and that's the Rhino up here. There are some other potential ships up there on the shelf to look at, and there's a completely well, more or less, I haven't even started that one up there. And then on the bench down here we have my shield of was it the, oh sorry, the sword of persuasion. I think it's the sword of persuasion in the background here, and then a new one which I'd got off the bench only recently, and this was I've been able to design a little stand for it. These are all part, of course, of my big Armada. Oh, and of course, and I have my my other ship up here, which I'm going to take as well. Sorry, is that the sword? No, that's the pillar of persuasion. I'm getting confused with all the names now. That's the pillar of persuasion, which is up there, and the sword of vengeance is down there. Right, got it right now. That's the sword of vengeance, yeah, and that's the pillar of persuasion, or is it the other way around? I can't remember now. But anyway, that's one I am definitely taking to one of the exhibitions. So that's going to go. And as you can see, I have actually been developing this. This is my Armada. So I have that one, this one over here, and then I have this one on the bench. I have my Shield of Tyrannus. All of these are going to be my big Armada, and I'm wondering whether to take them or basically to wait, because the fact is that I need to take my time in construction. If I'm going to produce work which is as good as the which I think is as good as the YT transport that I've recently finished, that took me 2 years. And there are no rules and limits, time limits as to how to complete something. And I don't want to rush it. I really don't want to rush this stuff because I want them to turn out well. So if they're not ready, they're not ready. And I'm not going to say rush them to get them ready. So that's really the only one that I've had completed and finished. And I think I'm going to I'll take that one along because it is completed, but the others aren't finished, and I'm not going to rush for it. So I've now got to decide. This is a roundabout way of saying that I've got to decide what I'm going to take, what I've got a chance of finishing off and completing to take to one of these to the exhibitions. And I think I'm going to take the mech. I'm going to finish that off now, paint it, complete it, and take it to the one in April, because that's the nearest I can get to, because it's now coming into March, and I've only got about 6 or 7 weeks to do it in, and I only work at the weekends, so this is a grand opportunity for me to finish off that particular piece. And there are some other bits as well, some other pieces as well, which I might take. Right, I've made a decision. That's going to be the piece that I finish off. So I shall clear my bench, finish off the mech, and then we'll reassess what I'm going to be doing. And just before I get started on my mech, I've decided that I'm also going to take my Blade Runner tribute car, my spinner, my version of the spinner, when I finish that off, and also my cyberpunk scooter, motorcycle, anti-grav motorcycle. Anyway, I'm going to finish that off as well. So 2 more models that I've got time now, between now and April, to finish them off, repaint them, and get them sorted. Right, made my decisions. I've only got to do it now. Let's get started. So I've applied the first set of washes to the Rhino. I'm thinking of renaming it actually the Goliath, the all environmental weapons platform, which is the AEWP Rhino, or Goliath, which I think sums it up. Anyway, yes, so there you are. That's the first set of washes for it, which is a khaki and then a rust wash over the top of it. I'll just turn it around a bit, and already it's looking much better than it did before. Happy with that. So now I've got lots more to do, of course. I've got to put more washes onto it and dirt it down, really grunge it up, but that's looking nice. And I have also been looking at the cockpit, and I've filled out the cockpit a bit better, and I've secured the pilot into the cockpit as well. So and the cockpit cover is over here, and that's been washed as well, and I can fit that on shortly. So that's been done. So yeah, that's looking much better, because obviously it hasn't been touched for many months, probably over a year, and but now I'm finally getting around to finishing it off and making it look good. So that's the first set of washes, and onward and upward we will continue with this particular model, and then we'll go on to the others that I want to do. Right, 1 down, 3 to go, as they say. So I have washed it and dry brushed it and put on quite a number of layers of grime and grease and so on, and now all I need to do is to put some clear matte varnish on it to seal everything in. But the Goliath is finished. It's going to be called the Goliath. So yeah, that's really nice. The weathering is really nice. It's really sort of taken on a nice gungy industrial form, which I'm happy with. I'll just turn it round and you can see it from other angles. The industrial kind of weathering, I think, has worked very nicely, especially around bringing out some of the details around the back and so on. So that looks nice. Yeah, that's worked well. It's the first time I've used oil wash, or experimented with oil wash, and given it time to dry has made it has given it that kind of oily, greasy look to it, which is rather satisfying. But that's worked out very well, I think, from all angles. Yeah. I might just put perhaps a few little details into it now, like decals if I can find something which would be useful, like danger signs and that kind of thing. If I can go on a website, perhaps they have those kind of things on a website. But I'm happy with that, and the cockpit does open, and one can have a look inside, and that cockpit's worked out quite nicely as well. I like that. Just put a bit more light on it. Let's have a look at the inside. There. So he looks quite happy in there, and I like the control panel which I've got there. So that's worked out quite nicely. Okay, so that's that one done. That's the Goliath finished, and now I want to go on to my spinner car and my flying motorcycle, and I'll also be sharing with you another project which I want to start in the not too distant future. This one is going to be a bit of a change, but I'll share that with you shortly. But anyway, there you are. That's the Goliath finished. Happy with that. So, going on with my spinner Blade Runner car. This was very simple. I have masked off the areas with either masking tape or with masking fluid. This is the fluid that we use in England, Copydex, which is a kind of paper glue, but it's rubber based, so it can peel off easily. And what I've done is, as well as putting that around the windows and those areas, I've also speckled it all over the car underneath, so that and then I've covered the car with a coating of what's it called again? This colour. This is metallic spray paint, a blue metallic spray paint. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub off the Copydex with a paintbrush, or rather a toothbrush, and that should then give me a fleckled, scratched painting area, to which then add washes over the top, rust coloured washes. So let's see what that looks like, and hopefully I'm going to get a good kind of effect from it. Let's go and do it and see what happens. And after much scraping and scriping, I have taken off all the Copydex and the masking fluid and so on, and that's what we're left with, a patchwork of paint work and primer underneath. Now the primer underneath is obviously looking very fresh, so now what we need to do is we need to do lots of washes of grime and rust and so on, covering up the primer bits and the other bits of paintwork. And I also need to work on the bottom, because the bottom engines will need to be dirted down and grimed up. But that's the patchwork top coating of metallic paint scraped off, which I think is looking good. Gives it that worn weather-like feel. We now need to let that set. Basically, it needs to dry in and set so that it doesn't scrape off again. Then I'll cover it with a quick coat of matte varnish just to set it and it doesn't flake any further. But we're looking good there. That's looking okay. So we'll continue with the washing. And so there's another wash that I've done. This is an oil wash, and now I've got to let it dry. So I haven't done the underside yet. Just wash the top with an oil wash, an oil rust wash, and that'll dry now over the next couple of days. And then I can start adding more washes on top of that, some more grease streaks and so on and so forth. I want to keep it subtle and look like the car has been through, you know, lots of years of use, which it's looking like at the moment. So there's the oil wash. As I say, right, keeping it down, keeping it subtle, and then I'll start working on the underside, the undercarriage, which hasn't been done yet, but will look dirtier and grimier because it's underneath. But yeah, happy with how that's looking at the moment. So we'll just continue. And the thing about oil washes is you've got to be patient, because it does take time to dry, but I'm happy with that. And it's sitting quite pretty on its stand. I'm going to wash the stand. I'm going to paint the stand black, not the transparent bit, just the bit at the bottom when it's all sort of finally finished. But yeah, it's got a few colours coming through, and that's nice. Okay, right. Let's continue. And as I say, but this has got to dry first, so it's going to be a couple of days before I can get back to it. But that's okay. You'll see through the magic of this post, a couple of days will just fly by. Right, onward and upward. There she is. As I said, with the power of posting and the internet, we've jumped a week. But there she is, finished with all the paint and the washes in place. I have I've applied more grease and grime to it. I put a dry brushing of chrome and metallic onto it and more scratches. And now we have a spinner car, which looks like it's been spinning for years. But I think that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. That's what I wanted it to look like, as if it's one of those beaten up jalopies. And yeah, I'll just turn it round. Nice from that angle, and it's nice to have finally got the paint onto the onto the car at last, and that looks really nice from those angles there. And yeah, that I think it's worthy of being in a Blade Runner movie, don't you think? Quite happy with that. And that's the other side of the car. And I think the yeah, the painting and the weathering is showing off quite nicely there. Okay, at the top, it looks quite nice. There's the weathering around the back. Like that. And a quick look underneath at the engine bits. If you turn it around, you can see all the facets down there. That's a little bit. Let's see if I can get a better. Let me see if I can get a better light on that. Actually, just a minute. There you are. So that shows the engine. How it looks at how the engine detail looks at the bottom. Quite happy with that. And the weathering picks out all the metallic stuff at the bottom. Turn it around again. There you go. And yeah, I was happy how that was they got fabricated and it came together. So that's quite good. Okay. So, and you can still see into the cockpit and the various details that I've been able to put in there, which I'm happy with. And it looks like it's yeah, ready for action with the figure as well. So there we are, everyone. That's the spinner car finished. Now I'm going to decide if I've got time to do any of the other models before the April show, but happy that that's finally been finished. Right, let's see what I can do next if I have the time. So moving on to the motorcycle, the anti-gravity motorcycle, and I've started fleshing out the various areas of paintwork on the motorcycle. Chrome and gunmetal and a kind of orange or yellow metallic, and we'll flesh out the main areas on that, and then of course what we'll do is we'll scratch it, dirty it down, weather it, and so on. I want to give the engines more rust, put a lot of more rust onto it, to give it a kind of a lived-in, worn-out look to it. And then we're going to work on the rider as well and get that painted up and looking more less plasticky. I want to give it a kind of leather look if I can possibly, and paint up the helmet as well. So yeah, so we've started now on the motorcycle, and that's not looking too bad. We'll continue along those lines and see how far we can get with that. Not sure what to do with the front. I'm thinking about a two-tone kind of paintwork, two-tone colour scheme rather, seeing how that can pan out. But that's not looking too bad at the moment. Right, let's continue. The nice thing about chrome is that it really sparkles in the light, and that's quite nice. But of course, after it's dirted down, hopefully it will still retain that same sparkle. But that's looking really quite nice as it is. These areas in between there, I'll have to darken down, give it more depth, and I need to rub down some of the more rough areas of where I put filler, which has now come out a bit. But anyway, that's not looking too bad at all. So we're getting close now with the painting. All the various areas have now been more or less done, painted in, that is. I've still got to do the seat, but I'll do that shortly. So all the main areas have been painted with the general colours of silver, gunmetal, and this metallic gold, bronze type colour, which I'm happy with. And then of course we're going to do the dirtying down, but it seems to be stable on its stand, which is good. Just turn it round, happy with that. And that's looking, oh, I don't want it to fall over. That's looking all right. Yeah. So now we come to the we'll come to the dirtying down shortly. And I've also done quite a lot of work on the figure. As you can see, I've started to cyberpunk it. So the rider will look as if it's some kind of cybernetic rider on the bike itself. I put lots of greeblies on him to make him look as if he's the helmet itself is some kind of high-tech, tactical, computer-aided helmet, which gives the rider the ability to sort of use virtual reality and other and augmented reality things to seek out and do his missions. So that's looking quite good. The only thing is, when I put the rider on the bike, it starts to topple over on this. So I'm not sure whether that is now stable enough, the stand that is. And I have two options. Make another stand, or glue the whole bike to the stand. He keeps popping up and down, you see. He's interested. Glue the whole bike to the stand and permanently, which perhaps I should do, but I don't know. I always liked it to be able to take my models off stands to sort of, look at free, stand free, so to speak, but that might not be an option here unless I can think of another way of using the magnet, because the only access point, the only point I've got to put the magnet on is that underneath there. That's the only point I've got. So yeah, I have to think about that, whether I create another stand for it, which is a bit more stable. Anyway, yeah, so we're reaching the end point of the bike, and well, let's put the rider on and see what it looks like. So there's the rider on the bike. It seems to be stable at the moment. It's not rocking too much, so that's okay. And as I say, once the yeah, once it's all dirtied down, I think it's going to look pretty spectacular. I'll have to sort of dirty down the rider. I'll just turn around so you can see the other side. There he is on the other side. And what I might do is sort of to enhance the cybernetic qualities of the piece is to connect the rider via some more tubing directly into the model, into the bike itself, so it looks like he's sort of physically connected into the bike, plugged in, so to speak. We'll have a look at that, see if that enhances it. But anyway, that's what the that's what the model looks like at the moment, and happy with that. So onward and upward. We're nearly coming to the end of it now. Right. Well, I'm calling it a day now. I've finished it. I finished doing all the washing and the dry brushing, and I'm happy with the overall look. So that looks interesting. It's not as gungy as my other ones, because being cyberpunkish, I want it to have a kind of more high-tech, high-gloss look, but also looked lived in. And I think I've kind of hopefully succeeded in getting it to look like that. As you can see, I've taken it off the stand at the moment because I'm having a few difficulties with the stand. I'll tell you about that in a second. But the bike looks good. I'm just going to when I put it on the stand, I'll show you what problems I've been having with it. So hang on, and then I can give you the final look of it. Well, I'll put it there like that. You can see you can see what I've done on that side, and I'll just turn it over and show you the other side as well. That's the other side, and whoops, falling down. And then you can see I've painted up, and I've gunged up the dry brushed the cockpit and so on and so forth. So I think I'm happy with that look. Don't fall down again. There you go. No, it's falling down. Keeping it up straight is rather difficult. I'll show you why. I'm going to put it on the stand, and you can see what the problem I was having. Just a minute. So this was the stand that I had picked out for it, and I've kind of got it, I've got a little magnet at the top there, but when I put the bike onto the stand, it keeps on toppling over. It's obviously top heavy in one sense. However, I think I've found a solution to that, and I'll show you. I'll put that to one side, and I'll show you what I've done. So this is the rider, and as you can see, I have cyberpunked it and cybernetically enhanced the rider, and now painted it, and I think that rider looks pretty good, so I'm happy with that, how that looks. But what I've also done is I have put in, can you see there, I've just put a little bit of ballast into it. I weighted it down because I'm hoping that the rider will counterbalance the motorcycle, and it will stop it from falling over. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to put the rider on the motorcycle. This is the first time I've done it, and I'll see. Hopefully, it's going to hold. So let's give it a go. Well, it's holding. There you go. It's holding, and it's looking all right. So I counterbalanced that bit with the rider, weighted it down slightly, and it's holding on the stand. I think the stand looks much better than the other one because it's more transparent, of course, and gives the so you can see the finished model. So I'm calling it a day. I think that's it. The model is finished, and happy with that. You can get in close. You can see the rider and all its bits and pieces, and the bike itself, which I think looks nice. So yeah, that's it on that side. Really happy with that. That looks really nice. And I'll just turn it round, and you can see the other side as well. There's the other side, and I think that yeah, he looks like an urban warrior, an urban cybernetic warrior. Happy with that. And as I think the stand really does set the model off. Happy with that. So I'm calling it a day. That's the end of that model, and I've now done this particular one. I've done my Goliath mech. I've done the spinner car. So these are all the models I'm going to be taking to the April exhibition, which is in about a week's time. So I just got in under the wire by finishing all the models off. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, of me finishing off all my the models I'm going to take for the spring exhibition. The next one will be the models I'm going to be taking to the summer exhibition, finishing those off and perhaps doing a few other things along the way. So thanks for watching this one, guys. If you are in Milton Keynes area over the spring or summer, you might want to come along and say hello in person. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Bye for now.